Cool. So we're live. Jeff's on his porch. We got everything coming in from Lion Runner, asking questions. Cool. So hey guys, so this is our second live stream.
Hey everyone.
Yeah, what's up? So Toyotajeff, introduce yourself.
I am Jeff Teague. I've been having this YouTube channel since 2013, and I've been very excited to have a good following who people are just so passionate about Toyota products, and it's fun to be able to help people learn and research and even learn about the vehicles that they already own. Sometimes we don't know about those buttons and controls and systems. So that's where I come into play, hopefully all across the board. And what about you, John?
Bought a 4Runner. If you guys are new to my channel and don't know who I am, I bought a 4Runner in 2017, just made some YouTube videos on that old platform, and it just started going from there. And now I'm part of this awesome community, and we get to show you guys cars and part installs, Toyota news and rumors and everything like that. So this video is, or this live stream is kind of like that, but we're gearing a little bit more towards Jeff's audience due to the recent gas prices. So we're going to be kind of focusing on, as you guys see right here, the electric cars that Toyota has coming out with, and also the RAV4s, just some of their more good mileage vehicles, I guess. And we will also take your guys' questions at the end too for ultimate Q&A. So what do you want to talk about first, Jeff?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think the automotive elephant in the room has to deal with a few different things. We've got no vehicles, very shortage of vehicles, and then we're paying a lot of money at the pump. So what do people do when you're addicted to your full-size trucks and your mid-size trucks and your SUVs? There's got to be something else, right, John?
Yeah, I was just making sure everyone knew we were live on Instagram. Yeah, there's a lot of different stuff. And if you can tell the future, you may not have traded in your hybrid RAV4 that got 20 miles per gallon or 40-something miles per gallon for a Tundra, the Tundra that's behind me. So I definitely miss it. Toyota does have some very good options for good gas mileage, even though they don't have a lot of fully electric cars. They do have some very, very good hybrid products that get incredible gas mileage for sure, like the RAV4 right here.
Absolutely, and that is the RAV4, the new Cavalry blue color. I know you're a fan, John. This is going to be available for 2022 in 3 different trim levels. The new trim level is the Hybrid SE. Some people call it SE Hybrid. It's going to be available in the Hybrid XSE and then the TRD Off-Road as well. So you'll get 3 choices. TRD Off-Road, of course, is for the gasoline only. But if you want to go hybrid, to me, SE is a fantastic choice. You save over $3,000 by not picking the XSE. You still get that gloss black look. It's just not going to have a 2-tone gloss roof like the XSE does. It'll have the gloss black wheels, has that look like it's an XSE. As a matter of fact, some people would be fooled into thinking it's an XSE. If prestige and stature, you want to be the top of the totem pole for RAV4 hybrid, you could get away with that SE. Just don't show people the back where the badge says SE on it. Yeah, but it's a really good choice.
Yeah, or when you open the interior doors too, because I mean, for our RAV4, for what we got it for at the time, you know, sub $40,000, I think it was like $38,000. It was the RAV4 XSE hybrid. I mean, it had the full panoramic moonroof, the leather seats. I don't know if they're leather or soft tex in that, but they had leather seats, heated steering wheel, heated seats. I mean, it was very, very good for what we had, and I couldn't believe that it was a RAV4. But what really drew me to that car was the look of it, like Jeff was saying, the black roof with the color matched wheel fender flares too. The black wheels, I mean, the whole package of the car just looks so good. So now that they are able to do that at an affordable price of the SE, I mean, $3,000 less, it's really cool. I think it's a really cool car, and it'll sell pretty good for them.
Yeah, it is. And for your fans who, they just want that body on frame, or they want something that makes them feel like they're still driving an off-road, but you can still save on gas mileage, remember the RAV4 TRD that has several different resources so that you can take it to the beach and drive it on sand. You could take it on the mountain trails, by the river streams. Sounds like a song, doesn't it? but
Yeah.
you're still averaging 30 miles a gallon. So that might be something that you want to consider as a second car. I don't know if it's drastic enough or desperate enough where people have to get rid of their full-size SUVs and trucks right now, but maybe you're in the market where you just need that additional car, and you've got the trail mode, you've got that on-demand all-wheel drive. So, I mean, that's a solid choice. And it has, I believe is that the one that has the on-demand all-wheel drive? I believe it does. I mean, they're all on-demand all-wheel drive.
Right. Yeah, I mean, because Lion Runner was saying something too, that I really wish the hybrid all-wheel drive would have a bit more all-wheel driveness, which I agree with, because it's really just a front-wheel drive car until you really punch it. Then the back motors start to engage, basically. So I do agree with that. Oh, how do I hide it now? Okay, got it. So I do agree with that, but that's the cool thing though with the Tundra hybrids, because I saw another comment too that he was going to back out of the Tundra order just because gas now is $6 a gallon in Washington. So I don't know. I mean, a RAV4 compared to a Tundra, those are two completely different vehicles. But I mean, you'll go just as far on the RAV4, if not further, with your tank of gas for probably a third of the price, depending on your Tundra. Because like my Tundra tank is 32 gallons, and our RAV4 was around 12 gallons, 13 gallons. So I mean, that's almost 2 times the tank size, 2.5 times the tank size. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's the RAV4 hybrid is 14.5 gallons. So
Gotcha.
I'm not trying to correct you. I'm just,
No, hey, you're the ones that
that's one thing I do know.
cars. Yeah,
And you know what? If you really want to go full all-wheel drive, you can go with the RAV4 that has dynamic torque vectoring, and that really allows you to maximize and kind of strategically take your vehicle where you can maximize both, not just the front and the wheel and the back wheels, but you can put the traction where it needs it, left and right side. So uneven trails where you're spinning, dynamic torque vectoring is the way to go with that particular one.
It's very cool. And for the whole overland off-road community, people that follow my channel, the RAV4 is really making a splash in the scene. It doesn't have as much wheel travel as a lot of the body-on-frame vehicles, but there's a lot of individuals that are putting roof racks on these. I've seen some with tents on top of them. Crazy. So, I mean, your good gas mileage is really starting to get lower by adding more weight, but it's just so nimble that if you do daily it, maybe you have it lifted up a little bit. But a lot of individuals are choosing these now over 4Runners just because of gas mileage, which is pretty crazy. So,
and you know what, if you're going that route, then remember the towing capacity on certain RAV4s, it gets all the way up to 3,500 pounds, so that you can't, I mean, you can't take a big giant boat or a camper or something like that, but you can take those things that are on the lower to mid level where you might just push it a little bit, but you could take things that you could never normally take in a RAV4. RAV4 hybrid, 1,750 tow capacity for those keeping score at home.
Yeah, which, I mean, really a max tow package on a RAV4 is not that far away from a 4Runner, because what's a 4Runner? 5,000 pounds? 5,500 pounds? Yeah, that's crazy.
Those are all 5,000, and so are the Highlanders. So
yeah, dang.
You're just a little further away from, I know 1,500 pounds is a long way, but you're just one little echelon away from being right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So then smaller than a RAV for people. Oh, what were you going to say, Jeff?
Oh, I was just going to say, for those people who we've got a couple questions about, I promise we'll answer those about TRD Pro production and vehicle shortages. I promise we're not going to ignore that one. That's on the agenda. Yeah,
that's one of our talking points, because it's definitely a hot one. But we will move on to the Corolla Cross. Because
what's a Corolla Cross?
We'll just kind of keep up the talking of good gas mileage little SUVs real quick. And
and you know, remember, for those of you, hey, that looks like a Venza. For those people who are considering or have heard about the Corolla Cross, we're getting there. Remember, Corolla is the best-selling sedan of all time in the entire world. It might not be the flashiest, it might not be the sexiest, but it gets you where you need to go for hundreds of thousands of miles. It's super reliable and dependable. Again, it's not where somebody looks at it, not all trim levels where you're going to go, that is so hot, I'm going to just drive it down the strip. But you know what? Now you're adding versatility with this Corolla Cross, and it's been overseas before. So there have been rumors and talking talking head saying, will it make it to the States? Will it make it to the States? Will it be a hybrid? What will it be? Well, look at this. This is a good looking ride here, John.
Yeah, I actually really like it, and I haven't been able to see one yet in person, unfortunately. Our dealerships haven't had one, and I haven't gotten one as a press vehicle yet. I'm not sure how good it would do on my channel as a press vehicle, but at the same time, selfishly, I want to see what it's all about. I mean, I love the RAV4, so I feel this being even smaller than the RAV4, because we had a Corolla back in the day. We had a 2015 Corolla, I think it was. And
Yeah.
I really, really liked it. It was a good little A to B car. But this thing right now, at least, doesn't have a hybrid system on it. But I think that's coming out later this year, isn't it? Have I announced
Toyota's
that
already
yet? Or
strongly hinted at the fact that and believe me, when the Corolla Cross was first introduced, people said, hold on there, Bo. Why is that not a hybrid? What about the Corolla Cross hybrid? Toyota has already come out and said, yes, we realize that the gasoline version is first. They have their reasons. Trust me on that one. I'm sure we'll be seeing that in the pipeline. That's about all I can say about the hybrid part of it. But what I can tell you right now is if you're looking at a Corolla Cross in MPG, since that's our theme for one of the talking points, you're going to be getting 31 in the city, 33 on the highway, and 32 combined. You'll get 3 different trim levels, and they're all ones that Toyota fans and owners know. You'll get the L, the LE, and the XLE. It's nice little niched in there, and they all cost. Now, granted, I'm not including the delivery, which would be about $1,000, but the L model will be about just over $22,000 factory price before delivery, and then $24,000 for the LE, and then $26,000 ish for the XLE. So even if it's pimped out with options, an XLE, you're going to get it for probably under $30,000 and getting, depending on how you drive it, over 30 miles a gallon.
Yeah, and what's a regular Corolla? Like $1,000 to $2,000 under that? I mean,
it's not much. So you get
yeah.
you get that added storage space. And I will tell you, if you sit in a Corolla Cross for the first time and look at the dash from like the back seats or even from the driver's side, it looks very, very similar to what you see in the modern Corolla now. I call it let's call it simplistic modern, because it has a lot of good technology, good multimedia, nothing overwhelmingly it's going to blow you away with the technology, but it's what you're used to with the Corolla, and it looks nice. It's simple, but it looks nice inside. It's very classy, very tasteful. And I think a lot of people would be proud to drive that. Maybe your kids as one of their first vehicles, maybe your second car, maybe your first car.
Yeah, it's definitely a good entry-level car. And I honestly find it, and we could segue, I guess, I honestly find it kind of crazy that Toyota is just now getting to the point of crossovers as a thing, because a lot of the other manufacturers have really axed a lot of their vehicles, especially Ford. I mean, Ford doesn't have any sedans anymore, really.
No, they've cut everything.
They focused on the truck and the crossover market. So, I mean, Toyota's
and even their
Avalon,
and even their Mustangs, they've made a Mach-E. You know what I mean? So everybody knows where things are going. It's going electrified. It's going alternative fuel sources.
Yeah.
Whether it's the only option that you have, like a Venza or a Sienna, where it's a hybrid, or they give you a couple different choices. I want gasoline. I want all electric. I want battery electric hybrid. A lot of choices. And Toyota will have, I believe, 70% of all their vehicles that they make and sell by 2030. They're going to have some form of electrification. And I believe the timetable is still for 2025. Every model that Toyota makes will have some form of electrification. So think of those vehicles that don't have it right now. Think of 2025. That's just a couple years away.
Right. Yeah. And
I think everything's right on schedule.
Hopefully. And in some way.
Yeah.
And in some way too, right? Like you're not gonna, so for 4Runner in Tacoma, I mean, you're not gonna have the hybrid system like the cars. Toyota's made it clear with their body on frame with this new F platform, at least for the United States or North America, maybe that's the more proper way to put it, is they are a hybrid type of truck. They got that is a hard word to say, electrification. They got that.
You got it.
But it's the parallel hybrid system. So it's more for performance versus MPGs like their cars or their crossovers. So it's still electrified. Oh my gosh. but it's not for MPGs, if that makes sense,
Yeah, completely. No, I think the Corolla Cross is a great choice. And, there are a lot of choices out there. Now, our Avalon is going away. That was in a hybrid. The Camry hybrid is extremely popular. Prius is still hanging around there until it gets redesigned. I mean, there are a lot of choices. And I've had my Venza for just over a year. I love the luxury. I love the seats. It's extremely comfortable. And you could get 40 miles a gallon. So, I mean, a lot of solid choices out there, whether it's your primary car or just your secondary car.
Right. And then in the future, Toyota is coming out with this guy right here that Jeff and I both already explained we don't know much about because neither of us went to the event that they had for this little guy. But this is what is it? BZX4?
BZ4X. It's like a Star Wars
BZ4X.
droid, like BB-8.
Oh,
BZ
yeah.
stands for Beyond. Well, BZ stands for Beyond Zero because they're lowering their emissions to levels you've never seen before. This has a range of 250 miles on it. And from what I'm told, it has good technology in it. The ride is fine. I'll need to try it out for myself before I really say, hey, you're going to love it or anything. But the styling on this one, I mean, doesn't this look futuristic? It looks like kind of like a transformer between a Venza and a RAV4. And somehow they just took it and they made from a robot to a building. And it just looks so scientific and so futuristic, like it's next level Venza in a way.
Yeah, if they didn't come out with this and the next generation RAV4 was next year, I think that this is the next generation RAV4 because it looks like the RAV4 a lot, and then it does kind of have the swooping roof like the Venza does. So I mean, I think it's a very cool looking car. The press individuals that were able to go to the event for this car, they all really liked it. And I think it's a big thing right now just because it's Toyota, which they don't step out of the box that often for something like this. So this is a good stepping stone, I feel, for them for that type of vehicle in the future. I mean, this is a full plug-in EV. There's no gas motor or anything for this car, which is pretty cool, to my understanding.
And Krowicki at our comment section had an excellent point. That's right. There was news, I believe it was the last week or two, where Toyota will be giving 1 year free of charging at their stations that they've partnered up with. And it will have, I don't even know what's in the latest version of Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. We're on 2.5 and 2.5 plus now, depending on whether you get a truck or a car. I can only imagine what it's going to have. But yeah, just like I was saying, max range of 250 miles, depending on how you drive it and conditions.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would love to drive a fully electric car. I think it would be really just a weird feeling because I did enjoy, I mean, your Venza does it too, but if you go around in your neighborhood in like EV mode to a certain speed, it's kind of a weird sensation to just be in electric mode and have it be very quiet, but still decently responsive at least. So I think that car will be pretty cool.
Yeah, I do too. I'll be anxious to try it for the first time. I really can't wait because I don't know enough about it. So I guess we should move on.
Yeah, this is cool. And I know I'm not getting political in my live stream, but I know that I know that there's a big push for electric vehicles and a lot of money is in that realm and stuff. And but hydrogen, Toyota's really one of the only brands to still offer a hydrogen car, correct? Because you got to see the Mirai a while ago, right?
Yeah, I was at the world premiere of the Mirai, the second generation, and just there was nothing fancy about first gen at all. The only billing it had was that it was a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle, which in itself is pretty remarkable, but it looked like a glorified, fancy Camry type sedan, midsize sedan, the second generation. What a difference. They did an excellent job with their exterior styling. Inside, it just looks futuristic, kind of like what you'd see almost like a Tesla type vehicle where you're like, wow, that's a Toyota. I'm told that logistically the challenges are that really it's offered right now in California. They're putting a lot of stations and resources and money into the Northeast, and then they're going to flow down from there. So hydrogen definitely is not dead by any means. It's a growing field. They just have to build their logistical chain. They just don't have it quite there yet. But in California, it's rolling, man.
Right. Yeah. And it gets great mileage too. And it's very like pollution, I guess, or however you would say the proper word for that. But like the emissions from, thank you, the emissions from it are like non-existent almost, because it's water vapor that comes out of it. So that's pretty cool. I mean, that technology, if it was a plug-in hydrogen, I feel would be very, very cool. But again, it's the whole infrastructure thing, which is my gripe against EVs, is the push is crazy for it. I mean, even Elon Musk from Tesla was all like, hey, let's back off. We don't have infrastructure for these things yet. So, I mean, the push is ridiculous. That's why I think hybrids, the way Toyota is latching on to hybrids, I feel that is a very, very good push and strategy for them right now, because you get the best of both worlds. You still get a gasoline engine, so you never run out of range, right? The range anxiety that a lot of people have when they first get an EV, but you still get benefits of being in EV mode or electrical assistance of power too. I mean, because EVs now, or hybrids now, are not like Priuses back in the early 2000s. I mean, hybrids now are actually fun, good vehicles to still drive, which is cool.
Yeah, again, to use the same term I used before, there was nothing sexy about a Prius in 2001, but it would get ridiculous gas mileage compared to what people are used to. Now you're going to be proud to drive a hybrid. And you know, we talk about all these different resources and different fueling methods and power methods. Toyota's president was very clear that they don't want to just go in one direction. Everybody has different needs and objectives and uses for driving a hybrid vehicle. You might not be, I guess you might not be somebody who could use a battery electric vehicle. The hybrids will still be around. Mm-hmm. They want to diversify so that they appeal to everybody, because everybody has a different type of power that will best fit how they're going to use it. So diversify. Right. That's what they're doing right now. They do not want to put all their eggs in one electrification basket.
Yeah. And I made Jeff a little jealous, guys. I got to go to a Lexus event in Georgia, and Scott Pruitt was there, who is like a really renowned race car driver. And the dude, he's, I think, in mid 50s, maybe even touching on his 60s. And he looks, I don't know, probably better than I do. But he not only does race car stuff, and he used to race cars and everything, but he also works closely with Toyota to develop a lot of new products for Lexus. And his favorite type of cars are hybrids. So I feel that Toyota will be, and he divulged a lot of this to us, that Toyota will be, and Lexus will really be diving deep into performance style hybrids too, which will be very cool. So they've been working on, I guess, like the next Lexus supercar kind of a thing. And he said that hybrid technology is, don't think of it as, you know, grocery getter technology. It's going to become something very, very cool for Toyota as a brand. So I'm excited to see what they come out with for that.
Well, that kind of gets me going just hearing that. That's very
cool. I know. Yeah. I don't think I texted you about that. I think, yeah, but no, he was talking.
Yeah. I tried to ask you very little about it because I was extremely jealous you got to go.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, he told us all that stuff, and that it was cool, right? Talking about hybrids and everything. But then we get in the 5.0 liter V8s and just rip the track around. So it's two polar opposites. And you're talking about hybrids and good performance and stuff, but then in efficiency. And then you get in a gas guzzling V8, which, oh man, it's such a nice cars. But, and then this question, I like that from Vince. So when are we getting news about the GR Super Sport? Which one's that? I know the GR Corolla was kind of rumored a bit to potentially be coming to the United States. A lot of YouTubers have done videos about that. So I think Toyota as a brand is really putting a lot of eggs into the GR basket, kind of like TRD for a lot of the body on frame vehicles, Toyota Racing Development. I mean, Gazoo Racing, I think, is more of their really good tuned vehicles. Do you have any input on that, Jeff?
Well, I do think that that's going to be a growing field. Obviously, the rumors are, when is the GR Yaris coming to the U.S.? When is the GR Corolla coming to the U.S.? I think we know a little bit more about maybe the second one than the first one. But I mean, you're right. Performance lineup, it's just like TRD slowly crept up on you. And then it just slowly, next thing you know, we got a Sequoia TRD. Like, that was going to happen. But, you know, the GR, we've got the GR86, the GR Supra. Yeah, I think Toyota's, like you said, they're going in that range where they're going to just go into that market full steam ahead. I feel. I'm sure we'll be getting news about it. I'm sure by the end of the year on at least one of those.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, the hot hatch market, was a thing in the past, right? With the Ford Fiesta STs and the RS and the Golfs from Volkswagen. I mean, it was a big thing in the past, and I feel like the wave kind of went, good, fast, fun cars, and then more crossover vehicles and kind of trucks, and then now people are enjoying cars again just because manufacturers stopped selling them. So I think a GR Corolla would be cool over here, and especially a Yaris. I mean, just to have a Yaris again, because the Yaris isn't even brand new anymore in the United States.
No, and I remember when the Yaris first came out, it was 2007, I believe. Those vehicles were so hot on the lot, whether you got a 4-door or 2-door, and they were so dirt cheap that there was a wait list on those things on a Yaris. Can you believe that? Almost reminded you of like foreshadowing that there would be an earth-shattering car vehicle shortage crisis coming up. But that's what it was like, because there used to be wait lists for a Yaris, for a Prius. I mean, people would wait 6 months for a Prius. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not something that's unheard of. That was Toyota specific, but other models and other manufacturers, they've had this same thing where people are waiting 1 to 2 years to get their vehicles, and hopefully it's worth the wait. Now we're just seeing it across the board where people just aren't getting their vehicles. But yeah, I'd love to see the return of Yaris. Just, I want to have some gas, some juice.
Yeah, no, that'd be pretty cool. So with people wanting to get their vehicles, we can transition into that if you want. We could start talking about
that would be great. Then we can appeal to people who are thinking about Sequoias and Tundras and next gen Forerunners and next gen Tacomas, that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Because we have all the news about that.
Yeah, we know everything. They actually just sent us an email about everything, so we'll tell you guys all that right now.
Hey, Jeff and John, use this for your live stream tonight. We haven't released it. We won't for 6 months, but we know your fans will like it.
So we can talk about shortages. So, I mean, I think that for Toyota to push these 2 new platforms this year is pretty good for them to do, especially with supply chain issues. But out the gate, they were very ambitious. I mean, I remember in California, them telling us that they wanted to ramp up from second-gen Tundra numbers. I mean, second-gen Tundra numbers were only in the low 100,000s, sometimes to 200,000 a year, and they wanted to really ramp up. And I don't even think that they're on target to really hit 100,000 this year, just because of everything that just keeps shutting the factories down and stuff. What have you heard on a salesperson front?
From the dealership level, the vehicle shortage is still going strong. Unfortunately, people asked if I could comment on that and Toyota's projections. Well, Toyota, believe me, they know they don't have enough vehicles. We've got a shortage of lasers now that are used to make chips. We've got all sorts of supply chain logistical nightmares that we've had COVID plant shutdowns all over the world. Including in the US, it's happened. But Toyota still knows that you've got to get the vehicles, and they're so excited to get these out. It's not like they're holding them. It's not like the dealers want to hold them. So I think everybody would be thrilled if there were 200 or 300 cars on everybody's lot, because believe me, it's so much easier to just drive in and say, hey, I want to look at that. You've got 10 RAV4s to choose from, and you drive home with one. There's nothing exciting about looking at a consumer spec sheet and going, and hearing, okay, well, that'll be 4 to 8 months, we think, for that one, maybe 10 months, but that's what people are doing now. Toyota what they did was for April, May, and June, they significantly raised their production plans. But what they've done in the past week or two is they've lowered those because they recognize that suppliers are what they call exhausted. They're working overtime. They're working around the clock. Just imagine not having enough of anything, not having enough workers, and then trying to get it out anyway. Toyota has to balance the fine line between volume and quality, which they're known for. So what they've said is they're going to lower for April, I believe, that high projection down another 20%, for May down another 10%, down 10% of the projection, in June 5%. And again, this is a very fluid, generic, vague timeline and expectation, because they don't want to overwhelm their suppliers. They want to get the product out, but it's got to be Toyota quality. So believe me, they recognize that completely. Nobody wants to have empty lots. I promise you, the dealers, as much as you say, I said somebody used the term stealerships. Dealers don't want this. Manufacturers don't want this. And obviously, people looking to buy cars certainly don't want this. It's a lose for everybody, but we're all doing the best we can. I know that sounds like a political answer, but that's kind of the way it is. Just imagine, would you rather be a dealer who could sell 60 cars a month, or would you rather sell 400?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just so much more fun when you have product.
Yeah, and people don't complain, right, when you can get a brand new vehicle for $10,000 under MSRP. People will never complain about that. But the moment where high school economics comes in, supply and demand, if you have individuals that want a car, and I may steer some people away with this comment, right? I think that market adjustment is okay. I think it's okay, honestly, because if 5 people want one car, guess what's going to happen? It's going to go to the highest person. Now, where I come in on this and say I think it's outrageous is when you have no interest in a car and some dealerships still have a $20K market adjustment on the sticker and they may have 3 others on their lot. That is when it's kind of BS. But if you're paying $1,000 to $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 over MSRP, if you really need the car and want the car, then you're going to ultimately have to pay that. Unfortunately, it's just basic economics. I mean, supply and demand. The car's there. You want the car. So do 5 other people. It's going to go, unfortunately, to the highest bidder in that sense. But
and I fall in that line too. The people that I feel bad for are the people that get in car accidents and they have to get a vehicle. They've been in a rental car for how long will your insurance company let you have a rental? Or you just have to have a 3rd vehicle. You have to have a 2nd vehicle because of the work situation. Somebody's not working from home anymore. So now we have to have 2 cars. That's when it gets kind of tricky. But if you're on the fence about whether you should get a vehicle or not, don't be one of those people that leaves a comment. The dealership screwed me over when I bought my RAV4.
Right.
What I mean by that is not to be offensive, but you didn't have to buy the vehicle. They didn't screw you over. You went into an agreement, you bought the vehicle. And dealerships have a right to charge what they want to, sort of like sports teams and players. Those salaries are outrageous. Well, if somebody agrees to pay that, it's not outrageous. That's what it's going for. And remember, you'll hate me for this comment, but for the last 20 years or so, at least, it's been a buyer's market where people come in and they say, I want $8,000 off a Camry.
Yeah.
For 2 years, it's going to be a seller's market. And then it's going to go back to the way it was, where you'll ask for 5, 10, 15, 20 off. And we'll say, that's outrageous. That's ridiculous. So believe me, there are 2 sides to that. I'm not on the side of the dealer. I'm not on the side of the customer. But just remember, it's been a seller's market for 2 years. It's a buyer's market every other time. So
and even that too.
I know I'm not popular for saying that.
Right, but even that too, right? Let's say your Tundra that you're trying to get. Let's say you're trading in a 2nd-gen Tundra and you want the new one, and the dealership is marking it up $5,000. Okay, but you're first person in line, so your $50,000 new Tundra is now $60,000, but you're selling them your 2012 Tundra for $10,000 more than you could have ever imagined it actually being worth like 2 or 3 years ago. So, I mean, it kind of evens out for the car market, at least, right? It's the same thing in real estate too. You bought a $400,000 house. It's worth $600,000 now. But now you're looking at an $800,000 house. Well, hopefully the equity in cars, just like real estate, it's more expensive, unfortunately, but hopefully when you roll that into it, it almost balances itself out. So I don't know. It's hard.
I just got an email from somebody who said they sold their 1-year-old 4Runner for $15,000 more than they paid for it.
Yeah.
They said, should I trade? Should I take, or not trade? Should I sell it? I was like, I can't tell you what to do. I don't want to be responsible for that, but that sounds amazing. Like if you could drive the car of your dreams for a year and then make $15,000 on a depreciating asset.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy. Economics 101. Are you kidding me? That's as long as
we
you have
did with
something
the
to replace it with.
Yeah, that's what we did with the RAV4. I mean, I didn't make $15,000, but we essentially drove it for free. And then with the tax credits or whatever that you get for when you're trading in a vehicle, it was like $2,000 more than what we had left the dealership for a year and a half prior. And I'm not complaining at all about that part, but
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine though, on the flip side, paying almost $40,000 for a used RAV4 when brand new ones are the same price. That's the kicker in this market, is used cars are as much, if not more, than a new car right now, which is just mind blowing to me.
Yeah, exactly. And a shout out to Amanda, who's watching us while she's working out. Holla.
Heck yeah,
That's
get it, girl.
fantastic. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. I didn't know people actually like exercise when they watched our stuff. So that's good to know.
That's very cool.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Anybody who gets out there and does any kind of exercise, more power to it. But the people, can we talk about the Tundras and Tundras TRD Pro? Because I see a lot of people asking about what the allocation is. I got a little bit of information. The generically speaking, in a vague term, production will start sometime in the next few weeks on the iForce Max, which is Tundra Hybrid. So you could call it Tundra Hybrid if you want to, but it's Tundra iForce Max, which gets almost 600 pound-feet of torque. So, I mean, it's going to be just a rocket ship, and it'll be a beast. And then supposedly, depending again on how things shake out, next month is April. It should be starting to hit dealerships in April, and that includes the TRD Pro. The TRD Pro will not be held back like it was with the 22 Tacoma TRD Pro, for example. That'll be right on schedule. Now, how many are going to be coming out to people who are on lists and things like that? I can't tell you that much, but I'm encouraged because I've always known that the time frame was production would start in sometime in March-ish to dealers in April, and we all know how things slowly phase in or trickle down to the dealers. It's on pace for something with those 2 months in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it stinks because in a lot of Toyota's photos for the Pro, it said we'll be releasing in March, but now we've caught wind that it's pushed into April. So I think it's crazy, though, that you're releasing a 2022 now, halfway almost through the year, because 2023s, and we've asked them too at these events, like, hey, is every single year the iForce Max going to be staggered out as opposed to the normal iForce motor? And they said no. So it sounds like they're on track, hopefully now, to when 2023s come out in September is usually when the Tundra comes out, the next model.
Don't you think that the Tundra is going to come out later in the year just because
yeah, maybe like December.
I mean, they
push
could do it. I'm just thinking October to December, somewhere in that range, so they can get their 22 worth.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, someone thinks you're awesome, John. That's awesome, dude. All right. That's cool.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, that's not horrible. So, I mean, if you bought a 2022 iForce Max in June, July, you're not going to get mentally screwed that they came out with the 2023 like 2 months later. So right. I think you're right. They may push it towards December-ish.
Yeah, and for the people leaving comments asking about or mentioning that, hey, I left a deposit, I'm thinking of backing out. There's going to be a huge wait for these. They're going to be a surplus now. I totally appreciate your situation. They will not be sitting on dealerships lot. Maybe one or two, just because of the sheer magnitude of trim levels in a Tundra. Maybe that configuration isn't popular and it's sitting on a dealer's lot, but they're not going to sit around. The person behind you in the list will gladly take the one that you're not able to get. I'm not,
especially because it's a new platform too. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean,
people have been waiting for this for nearly a decade now, I feel like, and especially the last 2 or 3 years, just like people are asking feverishly about that next gen 4Runner. That's what they were asking about with the Tundra. So the demand is still there, and they sell so fast in my area. They probably do anywhere, but they are on dealers' lots every once in a while. Sometimes somebody backs out like you did, and it's somebody won the lottery.
Right.
Are you kidding me? There's an SR5 Crew Max 4x4 with a TRD off-road package that somebody backed out on. I'll take it.
Yeah,
you might have wanted a TRD Sport. Next thing you know, you're driving off that day with an off-road package. So, I mean, it happens, but there will not be a surplus of these things. There really never was a huge surplus of Tundras. Just because Toyota makes less of them than most other vehicles. But this one, believe me, people are rocking and rolling and ready for these things, they won't sit.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and I was almost to the point too where the truck that I ordered was gonna show up on a lot somewhere just because I would have went another route because it was starting to take so long. So people that want the truck are inevitably gonna get the truck. And I know gas prices are high right now. They're the highest we've seen, but they're not crazy high where it makes driving a vehicle basically non-existent. And frankly, I mean, these trucks are very expensive in the first place too. So I think those individuals that are able to, and this isn't to sound arrogant or anything, but I feel that if someone's spending $78,000 on a capstone, I think they can afford $5 a gallon of gas to fill the truck up if they're getting that one. You know, I mean, that won't be on the lot because someone can't afford the gas. I would feel like, because the person that buys that truck, they can probably afford the gas in it too.
Yeah, that's probably true. And somebody asked, what's the correlation between Tundra hybrid, iForce Max, I should get used to saying, and the Sequoia hybrid iForce Max? Well, I think we know from past history that Sequoias have had a higher MSRP than their equivalent Tundras, right? So, I mean, they're going to be more. It's hard to say how much more they're going to be. The Tundra iForce Max, I believe they start with a factory MSRP of around, is it 52,000, and they go all the way up to 73 on the capstone. I think the TRD Pro is about 65,000. That doesn't include market adjustments. It doesn't include the delivery fee or extra options or packages and things like that. That's just where it starts in San Antonio. So 52 to 73 is what a Tundra hybrid iForce Max will go for. I can only assume that Sequoia is going to come out a little bit higher than that. I don't know how much, but I don't know. Nope, they won't tell us. We're not in the know on that one, unless you're in the know, John. Did Scott Pruitt tell you that?
Yeah, no. So I mean, really, what I've been telling people is try to just use detective work. So we saw what the previous price of Tundra was. You can look up what a 2021 second generation Tundra price was. You can look up what a 2022 current gen Sequoia is and just do the adjustment basically. I mean, the Tundra went up, what, 6 to 10% on some models in price. So factor in that the Sequoia is going to be all hybrid. So that's an additional $3,000-ish as opposed to a normal Tundra model. So there's going to be no iForce for that one. So it's only hybrid for the Sequoia. So you got to factor that in. And then really, I mean, the SR5 Sequoia is like that too. All trim levels are like that. So I would just say 10% more than whatever it is. And if it's cheaper than that, then hey, that's a bargain, I guess, if you're already expecting the worst.
They'll be thrilled that you, like, oh man, and TRDJON said 10%. I'm thrilled with the 8%. You just never know what it is. And speaking of detective work, a lot of people are commenting that they put down MSRP deposits. People are charging 5 and 10 and 15. That's up to each individual dealer and you. That's not anything we can comment on. What you work out with your dealership is what you work out. But it does not hurt to contact 2 or 3 dealers that you're comfortable calling and just seeing what they offer. They might offer the same price, but remember, one dealership might offer free oil changes or faster service or shuttle service, or you might just
or lifetime powertrain warranty.
Yeah, they could offer that kind of stuff. So, I mean, sometimes we'll call them intangibles. Maybe that's a reason why you want to choose one or the other. But to me, whatever dealership treats you with respect and dignity, they don't talk down to your wife. They don't talk down to you. And they're not flippant or arrogant because they have the advantage right now. Somebody who empathizes and appreciates what people are going through trying to get these things and works with them like they're almost like you're their friend or their family member. That's who people want to work with. Somebody who they can trust, genuine, sincere, trustworthy, like TRDJON, you know?
Yeah. And I'll answer your first question, Crowwiki. I had to change the zip code when I did my YouTube shorts to show you guys the Tundra hybrids and stuff on Toyota's website. So it doesn't help you to build your own truck for your area that you're in, but I used the West Coast zip code and I was able to see all the iForce motors. For some reason, for Southeast Toyota, it's different and it's weird, so I can never see that stuff. But then, yeah, just put in like a West Coast zip code. I use my parents in San Diego. I use their zip code, so and it showed up. And then this question's for you, Jeff.
Well, this is a slippery slope because I had my answer and then I thought about it a little bit more. No, absolutely, the Sequoia will not come out before the iForce Max Tundra. Tundra will be starting to come out. Hear that word? Starting to come out in April. That doesn't mean that you won't get your Sequoia before you would have gotten the same order time Tundra. But what it means is Sequoia is scheduled to come out. Hey, Holly, my wife, she's been working out.
Dang, watching us all working out.
Yeah, maybe that was her. The Sequoias are scheduled to come out sometime this summer. I know what month, but we're going to just leave it at the summer for right now because I don't want to blow any Toyota secrets or anything that's been leaked, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, Tundra will come out first. As far as how that goes, how do I do that? As far as how the production goes, Sequoia comes out first in your area versus Tundra. I can't answer that one. But do you see what I'm saying? Tundra starts to come out months before Sequoia. Nobody knows what production's going to be. So I don't know if you're in Texas or Washington or Maryland, who's going to get what first.
Right. Yeah. I know if you live in Texas, you will seem to get all the vehicles first, especially because they're both being made at the same plant now. So, I mean, well, where was the Sequoia at before? I don't even know. But
that was in Indiana.
Oh, what? Okay. So, yeah. So, I mean,
it
it's
was
going to be
Indiana
down
plant along with Highlander and Sienna.
But it's going to be down in Texas, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be
the
in
new
San
one?
Antonio.
Okay.
It makes sense. And you know what is the coolest thing? Remember when we first saw Sequoia for the very first time and that euphoric excitement that we saw? It was killer. It was killer. You're killing me, Smalls. Summer. Exactly. But we were so excited. And I still think that the Sequoia looks and it just feels more exciting. And it's just a better redesign than Tundra even. I like them both. I'm blown away by Sequoia. Sequoia, whoever was on their marketing team and their engineering team, they must have been thrilled that Tundra came out first because Tundra had to do all the education. They had to do all the legwork. We're replacing an engine that you've known for 20 years with a twin turbo V6, no more V8. We're doing this. We're doing this. They did all the education telling people that everything's going to be different than what you've ever known about Tundra. And then Sequoia comes out and people are like, wow, look at that. That is incredible. It's amazing. They didn't have to do one single bit of education of the public because Tundra did it first. You know?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I agree. I mean, the Tundra is right behind me, but I feel that the Sequoia looks better than the Tundra. They did a very good job with it. The front end is definitely more Toyota vibe than the Tundra is. I mean, the Tundra's grown on me a lot after having it in my garage and driving it all the time. So, I mean, it's grown on me a lot more. But even at the events and stuff with the Tundra, I liked it a lot, but it never grew on me as I had hoped it would because I was buying one. But the Sequoia, I agree with Jeff. The moment they pulled the sheets off or the covers on that capstone one right there, I was like, damn, that's a nice upgrade looking SUV from Toyota to really replace, honestly, a vehicle that a lot of people are like, oh, Toyota still makes the Sequoia. Like the Sequoia was completely forgotten about. I think the Tundra was such an anticipation because people were still buying it all the time. But the Sequoia, now that they've refreshed this truck or SUV, I think people are now like, oh, I don't need to buy a Chevy Tahoe or a Ford Expedition or whatever. Like, this is actually modern now. I can go back to Toyota because maybe it's for people that have left the brand too for a while that are excited that this truck is coming back. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, think about the people that are going to be buying a Sequoia, people who may have never even thought they wanted a Sequoia before. Land Cruiser customers. You're not going to get everything, but you have a higher towing capacity, 9,000 pounds than you ever had with the Land Cruiser, which is it caps out at 8,100. So maybe that would be appealing enough where you Land Cruiser folks, maybe you're in the market now for a Sequoia. Maybe it jumps out at you. Now it's not going to have things like center locking differential and things that you're used to with those really beast-like SUVs, like
Right.
Land Cruiser, but it might do enough where that's your next ride.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of Land Cruiser fanboys that follow me. I mean, the Land Cruiser Colt is very good, as it should be. It's an iconic vehicle, a nameplate that's
Absolutely.
incredible. So I mean, the fact that Toyota let it go in our market here, I feel was a bad move. Honestly, I do, just because the overland movement and a lot of people in that movement do kind of have some money that they would like to spend, and they will spend money on a $90,000 Land Cruiser, which they did last generation, and it was old as crap, but they still spent the money on it and then still put another 30-40 grand into it to make it an off-road beast. This is coming out of the package as an off-road beast with way more tech and a lot of creature comforts inside, I feel, to really warrant I mean, this thing compared to the Tundra TRD Pro, this is probably a $73,000 SUV if I had to put a price on it, 73 to 75, I'd assume. So, I mean, it's still going to be cheaper than a Land Cruiser. And with the Sequoia too, it's a full-size SUV like the Land Cruiser, but you can get the TRD off-road in almost every package and still get the rear locker, the multi-terrain select, the crawl control. So, I mean, this new Sequoia gives you more options than the Land Cruiser did back in the day. So, except for flat folding seats, it does not give you that. So, which is a big deal for a lot of people.
Yeah, you're right. There's going to be a little bit of a hump there where it just kind of slopes down. So people were asking me to comment on the second and third row seats, how they line up with each other. The only two that we saw were they had, I don't know, about, what's that, about 8 to 10 inches, John? Somewhere it's about that much of a gap in height between the two levels. So, I mean, I'm sure they'll come out with some sort of fixes or hacks that you can, when you're camping in your vehicle, you'll find ways to make it work.
And that rear seat you can probably take out at the end of the day. I mean, if you're really building this thing to off-road with it, I'm sure you can find a way to take the rear seats out. So the main reason for that is because of the batteries underneath of it, which I didn't think about because I was saying, it's a big battery. So I mean, there's the batteries underneath there. Or if you really want the Land Cruiser, you can go for the LX600, right? So, I mean, that's still here in our market. If you want the ultimate luxury button off-road vehicle, the LX600 is still there, and it doesn't have the hybrid motor, but you can fold the rear seats flat. I mean, it's a really nice looking vehicle for sure.
Yeah, it's sharp. I've seen it. I haven't reviewed it, but I've seen it. One person I wanted to get to their comment because I made a note of it. They want to know, Javier wants to know, when can I get the 22 Tacoma Trail or TRD Pro?
I saw that up there.
Yeah, man, you can get those now. Actually, they're out. The Trail actually came out just a little bit before the TRD Pro, but the TRD Pro should start rolling into town, or at least you can order them. Check with your dealers. They should be able to build it. Some dealers were not able to see that as of a few weeks ago, especially people want to get their hands on that electric lime metallic. There are dealers who have them. They've shown up, and for whatever reason, maybe somebody wanted a black one or a white one, but they do have them occasionally available. But be prepared. There could be a long wait on that one. Anytime it's an exclusive or unique TRD Pro color, I think we all know that we're in it for the long haul. And if you want it, fight for that thing, stick in for the long haul, or maybe you'll like next year's exclusive TRD Pro color, which I'm here to announce is hot pink.
Yeah, my
wife just told me to shut up right away. She didn't believe me.
I'm gonna do a video probably this week on that because it's rumor season now again. Usually every March, April, I start to do that because we should know in June what the color is. So I'll be making a video on that. And then rolling in.
It was announced in July last year. Although there were rumors about what was going to happen with it. It was just, this totally threw me off, having so many. We've got an orange color. We've got 2 different kinds of green colors. And then we've got a carryover on the Sequoia being Lunar Rock again.
Right.
So, I mean, they've never done that before. Amanda, how can you get your husband to buy me one? Have him follow Toyotajeff and TRDJON. That's the best way to get somebody into wanting to buy a vehicle that they can't afford.
Yeah. And I don't think that plug-in hybrids will come for some time for those body-on-frame vehicles, especially since their hybrid systems are more performance-based versus MPG-based. But inevitably, 20 years from now, there'll be a full EV Toyota truck or a full EV Toyota big SUV. I mean, it's bound to happen. So, but definitely not within the next, 5-10 years, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be more anxious to see what they're going to call it, the Tundra Prime, the Sequoia Prime.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they'll do that, but it would be kind of a cool name, actually.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, perfect. And yeah, I mean, 4Runner, we'll see. I doubt it's going to be this year, guys. Tacoma, we've already started to see leaks of the next generation Tacoma, and that is a Tacoma, probably. It's camouflaged as a Tundra, but most likely a lot of the big people like TFL and stuff, they're saying it's the Tacoma. So Johnny says, what about a diesel 4Runner? I don't think Toyota is having any diesels here in the United States for any of their vehicles. The engineers said that Mike Swear said that he wanted to put a diesel in the Tundra. That was his first engine option for the Tundra, but big Toyota people told him, nope, no diesels for those trucks. So the way that the iForce Max motor came to be is because they wanted decent low-end torque, which they fully achieved with that motor, and diesel-like technology in it with low-end torque and the oomph that it will give it. So that's why they came out with that type of hybrid system for that truck, because the chief engineer of Tundra didn't get what he wanted, basically. So he tried to make the next alternative for that.
Right. And I think we both have to give a shout out to our buddy Danny, who was at Destination Outdoor with us.
Oh, what up, Danny?
Yeah, what's up, man? You want to go first? What was your favorite event you've been to in the last year or so? What was it, the time you spent with Danny at Destination Outdoor, or was it a different event?
100% around the campfire and stuff at Destination Outdoor. So, I mean, for an actual Toyota event, I feel that one in California that we just went to was pretty cool, just because of the venue and everything. And it was very organized and everything was central to the location. But that Destination Outdoor event was very, very awesome, just because it wasn't just a Toyota event for us creators to make content with, but it was like a mental reset, which was very cool to just camp in the outdoors again, be on a tent in a cot, or in a tent on a cot. It was a lot of fun. I like that one.
It was, and I think that for me it was cool because that was the first long, I guess, extended amount of time I've ever gotten to spend with a whole bunch of creators together, just sharing secrets and brainstorming about how we could each grow each other's business and our own business and that kind of stuff. I learned a lot about the off-roading community. People are so passionate about their rides, especially off the road. So for me, it was just a blast. But I really, really loved going to the California event, mostly because bucket list for me, I've wanted to drive along the coast and see the cliffs and the water and the ocean, and to be able to review a Tundra 1794 overlooking the ocean as the waves crashed in. That was pretty something special.
Yeah, no, that was very cool. That extra day, I mean, we always need to be wave one if we can, because that extra day was very, very awesome. I enjoyed that. Top 3 hopes. So guys, we've almost been on an hour, so we'll take some Q&As real quick towards the end. Yeah, that actually went by really fast. We'll take some Q&As now. So to recap for everyone that's been here, we talked about crossovers, hybrids, Toyota's future, touched on vehicle shortages and stuff. So if you guys have any questions kind of about that, that's what we touched on today. But top 3 hopes for 4Runner, one assumption you think will happen that you don't like. So the assumption I think that I'm not going to like is they're going to get rid of the rear roll down window on the next generation 4Runner, which I really, really hope they don't do. So that is a hope that they don't do, is a hope that the rear roll down window is there. I want a 10-speed transmission. The one that's in this Tundra is incredible. And I want it to look like a 4Runner. I don't want it to look like some other car or just ugly. I want it to look like a 4Runner.
Yeah, I don't want it to look like any other vehicle. I want it to still keep its identity. I really just, I assume, or I guess the expectation for me is that they put the same amount of attention into the interior and the technology and the multimedia, because those are big buttons for me, that they did in the Sequoia and Tundra. I just wanted to get with the modern times. I don't want people to say, oh, the 4Runner, it's so outdated versus its competitors. Although it doesn't have many competitors that truly do what 4Runner does. I want it to be something proud on the interior. I want to be blown away by that.
Yeah, yeah, of course. The interior, if it's anywhere near the new Sequoia or something like that, I think will be okay.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a hope and also an assumption that the same ones for 4Runner next gen. I would like to see more attention given to rear seat passengers. In other words, they have an optional third row, but I don't know if this is going to get the attention that I would like it to have, because it's just not a big segment where people are going to buy. Most people are not going to get that third row. They'll get a sliding cargo deck, or they'll have it empty. But get air vents to those people, make it a little bit easier for people to see over that second row so that they feel more involved with the ride. I'm not sure that that's going to happen, but I guess that's kind of answering both of those.
And this one may be a future YouTuber, Jeff. How did you get so comfortable being in front of a camera?
If you look at my first videos in 2013, I was horrible. I would say, I remember one of my very first videos, it was a Raiders of the Lost Ark parody. And I said, hi, I'm Jeff Teague and I love Toyota. And that's how I started it. So anybody who's uncomfortable, just remember we're all uncomfortable on camera. Now I feel like my best friend when I'm at work is my tripod and my iPhone 13 Pro. It's just me talking to them when I'm at work. No, but what I'm saying is I've got a camera that takes very good videos. It's just my phone. That's all I'm saying. I don't need a big heavy duty camera for most of the work that I do. So yeah, you'll get better at it and just keep doing it. As long as you're true to yourself and don't change your personality too much, it'll show through to the people who follow you, and hopefully they'll like it. If not, they won't follow you. But you gotta enjoy what you do if you're going to be on camera. Uh-oh. TRDJON, I can't hear you. Can you hear? You're muted, TRDJON.
I knew that.
Hey.
See, I'm on a live stream and I messed up. It doesn't matter. So the biggest thing for me, I know you asked Jeff, but the biggest thing for me is it's only me looking at my camera. Thousands of people watch my videos. I don't see them. So that's the biggest thing. So if you're asking that question to start putting stuff on YouTube, the only person I see right now is Jeff. The other 70 of you that are in here, I appreciate it, but I don't see you. So like, if you can just get past that, then you'll be okay. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Crowicki wanted to know thoughts on the GR86. I can just say I was pleasantly surprised. The styling is hot, and just little things for me. The fact that you can actually record your track time and your lap miles or your lap time.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, each lap you get to push a button and it goes, okay, start the timer. And then as you go around to whatever you're getting back to, you start it again. And then you can compare your lap times. So, I mean, they know their market. And that was just, it's not the fanciest graphics on that thing, but it was just kind of exciting. It's sort of the littlest things get you going, you know?
Yeah.
Nice Highlander.
At that, oh yeah, I don't have a GR86. That Lexus event that I was at, one of the individuals that was there, I mean, we drove $100,000 the LC 500, right? So he still said, even other than that new GR86, incredible car. He liked it better than the Toyota Supra, liked it better than the LC 500. It's a very, very good car, and that's just what I've heard from other people. I'll answer this question. In my honest opinion, what color would I choose for the TRD Pro? If you're going to go TRD Pro, this is my opinion. If you're going to go TRD Pro, always try to get the special edition color. To me, the other colors, they're nice, but you can get them on all the other trims, and the exclusiveness of a TRD Pro is supposed to be the main color. So yes, the red interior is incredible, but red and orange together would not look the best. No. But I'm aiming to get a solar octane when the time comes, or if it's too late, then whatever the next color is. But I like the exclusiveness of those colors.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I'm just not a fan of red interior. I like it. I like it on the Highlander XSE, for example. It's a cool thing, but it's not for me personally. So I would choose the black interior. Um, Black on black would look pretty darn cool.
Yeah,
I don't
very
normally buy
sinister.
black vehicles. I love the solar octane. I just don't know if I could pull the trigger on that color. If it was,
Yeah.
if it was, for example, black cherry Forerunner in
Oh,
1 or 2
yes.
or 3 years, absolutely, that would be for me. I just don't know if the orange is for me, but I really like it, and I like the excitement that people are having from it. Um,
Right.
and by the way, the person A, they really want to know what I mean by summer for Sequoia.
Hmm.
A, if you want to look in the comment section, A already gave a month that's probably pretty close to accurate earlier in the comment section. I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah. I mean,
Go ahead.
summer starts when? Summer starts in June-ish, right? And summer
Well,
ends around September,
I mean, I consider
month-wise.
summer to be June, July, and August mostly. Yeah,
Yeah.
September too.
So, I
Now,
mean, you got
if you're
3
in
months to
Florida,
pick from.
summer would be what, March through October. Same thing in
Yeah.
North Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, it was 70 something today. So, I mean, it's those, you got 3 months to choose from. So, we do
Yeah.
sell merch. Well, Jeff sells merch. If you go over to his channel, guys, watch one of his videos. He should have his Teespring right under his
Oh
video.
yeah, yeah, I do. I
Yeah,
have Hollis shirts and I have
yeah,
Toyotajeff shirts. If you
yeah,
want them, you don't have to, but if you want them, Hollis shirts. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, what was somebody asking a question about that was a legitimate question? But by the way, John, before I did my YouTube channel, I was part of a sort of like a prank call show that was affiliated with Howard Stern. I noticed that a lot of people are in the thing right now, so they're giving silly little comments and stuff, and I
Oh,
recognize them.
really? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was
so
wondering where all those
I
came from.
recognize a lot about that. Um, by the way, somebody wanted to know real quick about the Sienna Woodland. Yeah, it has a higher ground clearance. It's just made more for off-roading, not off-roading, but like camping and things like that. So yes, if you want something that gets 35, 36 miles a gallon, or I'm sorry, yeah, then that would be the
Yeah, it gets a
Sienna
lot.
Woodland. Unfortunately, with the Sienna Woodland, what I'm told is I believe they've hit their numbers already of what they're going to be producing for the year. That was sort of a specialty item. I'm not so sure those are available anymore, but it could be, but I don't think it is. But there's so many different trim levels of Sienna. I had one for a week, thanks to Toyota. It's so smooth. It's so spacious. There's room for everybody, and it drives really, really nice, even though it's a hybrid and it has less horsepower than the gasoline 3.5 liter did 2 years ago. It's a really, really nice ride. I recommend Sienna to a lot of people if that's kind of what the niche you're carving out. Yeah, there you go.
Mhm. Yeah, he had just commented that. So yeah, so I want to drive it because it's kind of the same power output that the RAV was, right? It's in the Camry hybrid. It's that same hybrid system, right? Or a more higher output motor, I think, for that one, for the Sienna.
Um, say that one more time. I'm sorry.
The Sienna hybrid, it's the same motor that the Camry hybrid and RAV4 hybrid have, right? But just a higher output engine, basically.
Yeah, it's the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine with electric motor power. I believe it gives 245 net hybrid horsepower.
Hmm.
It used to be 293 or 295, I believe. So it's gone down. But remember, when you get a hybrid, you're not losing low end power. You're actually gaining some. So, I mean, it's pretty swift when you're
Hmm.
trying to get up and go, like pull out into traffic, get up a hill, get onto a highway.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. And then this question, it's more of like for loyalists, I guess. Though those
That's a
companies,
hard question.
yeah, because those companies, I mean, Dodge doesn't. Dodge is just outrageous. I mean, they'll put a Hellcat engine in their Dodge Caravan. So just makes all the news because they're just ridiculous. Ford makes fleet vehicles. So I mean, they made all the Explorers and stuff for police officers. Same with Dodge with the Durango. They make tons of fleet trucks for construction companies, work companies. So I mean, Toyota doesn't care about fleet status. They've told us this many of times because it never fails. A journalist asks, Are you guys going to try to outsell Dodge and Ford and Chevy? And Toyota's like, no, we don't care about outselling them for that particular style of selling stuff. So I know with the SR this year for the Tundra, they really made that a decent fleet vehicle, but it will never be that crazy like Ford is on fleet vehicles, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And Toyota said, we're not trying to dominate. We're just trying to be really good at what we do with the Tundra.
Right.
And same thing with the Sequoias. They don't need to, their goal isn't to take over the world in the full size truck market. They just want to be experts at what they do. And, you know, if you want long-term quality and dependability and reliability, that's what Toyota is known for. Every vehicle is a good vehicle. Every brand, every manufacturer is good at certain things. Some will be better. So it just depends on what's important to you. If you're somebody who leases a vehicle, maybe you don't need a Tundra to last 20 years. You know, something like it. It just, everybody has different expectations and reasons for buying vehicles. Doesn't mean you're right or wrong. Although I love on my TikTok where people just argue over whose truck is better, Chevy or Ford. And I have a video that's 8 seconds long on Tundra, has 900,000 views on it. It's all and what's driving it to the top of the algorithm is people arguing over whose truck is better. I love it.
Jeez.
I love it. It's so funny.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. And I saw another comment. Why would you always want to be in second place? I guess, I mean, they're not for the Corolla, right? Because that's the best selling sedan. They're not for the RAV4 because that's the best selling crossover. So I guess when it comes to their trucks, they're not
for RAV4. RAV4 is the best selling small SUV in the whole world.
Oh, in the whole world. Oh, so not even just crossover SUV.
I'm sorry. Maybe I meant best selling small SUV in the whole country. It has been for almost 5 years. So I mean,
they know their bread and butter, basically, is what makes their money, I guess. So, and then Tacoma is the best selling small size truck, or not mid size truck, but the small truck market. So,
it dominates it.
Yeah. So they're first in some, definitely towards the end of the pack in others models that they have. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Sweet, man. Well, that's almost I mean, it's over an hour.
Wrap it up, guys. I think we should wrap it up for this time.
Yep.
Cool.
No, I agree.
Thanks everybody for watching. If you didn't get your questions answered, feel free to leave them in the comment section. That could be fodder for the next show. I assume you'll want to do another one, John?
Yeah, of course. And subscribe to Toyotajeff. I made that for you.
Excellent.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely do one. You guys leave down in the comment section how often you want us to do this. I mean, we did our last one last month. So right now we're just kind of at once a month whenever we get some Toyota news and stuff, and we want to bring it to you guys, or some good topics and stuff. So I think I'm good with that, man.
All right, cool. Thank you guys so much, and see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Later, guys.